Yeah, dude, I wanted to talk about some things.
Okay. What's in your mind?
Well,
I mean, Christmas is coming up. How do you feel about that?
absolutely nothing.
I mean, you don't seem like a guy that's full of Christmas cheer.
Yeah, I'm
Christmas
not very
cheer.
jolly right now.
Very jolly.
What's there to be jolly about? I mean, I guess what's there? I mean, there is a lot of things to be grateful and jolly about. I'm alive. I have all my 4 limbs. I'm healthy.
You have your health. You got family.
Yeah,
you got
fair.
friends.
Yeah,
You're not homeless.
I just think. Well, we talked about
Do
this.
you think you're kind of a pessimistic guy? Like you always looking, or you're more looking on the
I'm not
negative side?
pessimistic, but I just think, dude, we have you ever overthink things positively? I mean, give you an example.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to an event or you're doing a podcast, you're never thinking what could go wrong. You're thinking, oh wow, this is going to be amazing. This is going to be great. Your mind kind of just steers towards, how is this going to be a fucking disaster? How is this going to turn into the worst thing ever? It's always, oh, I need to avoid this. I need to make sure I don't do this, or if I do this, then the whole thing is done, or if I do this, it's not going to look good. You're never overthinking good things. So with Christmas coming up, yeah, there's a lot of things to be grateful about. Yeah, there's so many things that are good in my life, but my mind just goes towards, well, what do I not have? What have I not accomplished? What could I have done better this past year? Where did I go wrong? Or, it's never on the good side of things.
How long have you been feeling like that? Is this something that just started happening?
Well, it goes
this year, or is that
it goes what I want? So it kind of goes into what I wanted to talk about, man. I just feel like with my life right now, everything is like a little mission. You know, in video games, how there's like objectives
Sure.
that need to be completed.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's like the main missions and the main objectives. And then when you finish the objective, when you accomplish it, it starts saving in the game. It's like a checkpoint in the game where it's like mission completed, saving game. So then when you turn off the game and you go back to it, it's where it's at. Everything I do, I just see my life being that. I mean, and I'll give you an example. It's just, I can't ever get up in the morning and just say, I'm just going to go to the gym. It's sort of just like it's an objective. And then from there, it's, okay, go home, get ready for work, go to work. That's another mission that I need to accomplish. And then after that, go to a Christmas party and complete that mission. It just seems like it's always a test for the next thing. It's never just going and doing it. And not only is it not going and doing it, it's once it's done, once I have gone to work or once I have gone to that Christmas party, I look back on it in retrospect thinking, what could I have done better? What could I have done better in this interaction with this person? What could I have done better in the way I was speaking about my point on this particular topic during that moment? Like, for example, on Friday so for Friday for work, I had a Christmas breakfast thing, and then I had a Christmas lunch thing, and then that night I had a Christmas class, my cohort Christmas party. I looked at it as there's 3 different things I need to do today. 3 different objectives and missions that I need to complete. So already I'm putting that pressure on myself to finish these missions, but not only complete it, but do well in it. So for example, I remember there was what was the game called? Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk, yeah.
Yeah. There was like little like side missions and things that you had to do, like different combos to get a certain amount of points to finish that mission, right? But there was also missions where like you would only need to get, I don't know, 4 stars or 3 stars to be technically looked at as okay that you've completed that task, but it's only like 3 or 4 stars. So let's say I beat that little task, but I only got 3 out of 5 stars. But in the game, it technically says I won. I would go back to that mission thinking I want to get 5. I need to get 5 stars. I don't care. I already beat it. I don't care that.
You're very competitive with yourself.
Well, I mean, is that competitiveness or is that just weird obsession to do better? So, how I relate that to Friday is going to these events, the Christmas brunch, the lunch, the Christmas lunch, the dinner, the party. Yeah. These are all things that I did. Just showing up to it is great. Just showing up to it is I've finished the task and I've completed the level. But looking back on it, I'm thinking, I'll give myself a 4 out of 5 on that interaction. Give myself a 3 out of 5 on the way I conducted myself during dinner, and then I do like an overall score of myself.
Do you regularly think this way though with any event that you're going to, for example?
It's getting more as I'm getting older. Even like with the podcasting, it's just I'm never in a state of calmness. I'm never in a state of just being and doing. And
you can't, for example, you couldn't leave here and drive home and not think about this. Like it's still in your head for a while.
Well, I just think, what could I have done to be more present? What could I have done to just be better? Just be better at this episode.
Interesting. I mean, there are times when certainly I second guess how I interact. Like, I kind of have very similar feelings, but I definitely don't think that way all the time. Maybe not as often as you do. That's rough. That's got to be difficult. That's got to be challenging because that's always on your mind.
It's fucking tough, man.
I don't know how you would sleep. Well,
how do you live? I
don't mean
how
to
do
be,
you do this?
I don't mean to be a
how are you
jerk.
here?
I don't know. I don't mean to be a jerk.
Man,
but
I think it has to be an inner child thing, right? I mean, it has to be something as a kid, right?
I don't know.
Because I'm
by far not an
because
expert,
Alex, I was never always like this. That's where it gets me. When I was younger, in my early 20s, in high school, I would just do things and completely forget about it after. I would hang out with friends or go to a party or some sort of like sporting event or anything really. I would maybe obviously think about it a little bit because I'm thinking, okay, well, shit, during my basketball game, I could have done this better or I could have made that shot. Of course, I'm not saying I just completely shoot it out of my mind, but now I really dwell on it. Now I really just think about it.
So you changed your way of thinking at some point and you're not sure when.
I just feel like I'm always in a performance mode.
Yeah.
I'm always performing. I'm always in a place of what is the next thing? What is the next thing? After this episode is done with Alex, what is the next thing I'm going to do? Even driving home after this, I'm just kind of in a place of what's next? Yeah. What can I do next? What am I not doing?
I'm not sure. I know I hear what you're saying, and I appreciate you saying that. I'm not sure if you're looking for advice. I don't think I'm the best person to talk to.
I'm not asking for advice because I'm sure you're not going to be able to help me.
I don't know if anything that I would say would help. I'm not sure what kind of tools you can use to stop thinking that way because I feel like it's not sustainable. It's not like long term. That can't be healthy because that's always going to be on your mind. And sometimes I really feel like you should be able to do something like this, for example, or go to a Christmas party at work and just be there, be present for people, and then just leave and go, that's it, and not think about it anymore. Like you have to just learn.
And what happened was what happened.
Yeah, just like that's in the past.
If I was awkward
that's in the past because nothing I can do now. Like what does it really serve? Like how does it benefit you by spending hours thinking about, well, I could have done this and I could have done that and I could have said that.
I don't know. I think
how do you benefit from that?
I think the undertone of this whole thing is just I'm not good enough. I'm just not good enough. I'm never going to be good enough. I need to be better. I need to be better. It's just self-blame.
I think being self-critical, we're all self-critical to a degree, and that's good to push yourself, but also you could go too far. Do you have family that is super critical about you and your life choices and your career path and your decision making? Do you have parents or anybody in your life that's super critical, always on your case? Because I can see if that was the case, then yeah, I can see how you would get that way, because you've got people. If you got people breathing down your throat, and like even my parents too, to a degree, have always been super critical about anything that I do.
Maybe.
So I can see how that would affect you.
Maybe, yeah, but why is it coming out now at this age? Why is it becoming more of a thing as I'm getting older?
Well, if my best guess would be, you're what, 29?
Yeah. Why wasn't I feeling this way when I was 21?
When's your birthday? You just turned 29?
I just turned 29.
So you got one more year before you turn 30. And a lot of people, I know, a lot of friends, I have a lot of guy friends. We all feel the same way when we turn 30. There's something about turning 30 that feels like it's a major milestone. You're getting into this next major chapter of your life, maturity-wise. You're starting to be more financially stable. Hopefully, you are making different life choices and decisions about, like, where do I want to be? Do I want to have a family? Do I not want to have a family? Have I reached all my career goals at work? All that kind of stuff. So I think you're entering a different chapter of your life, and I think that's perfectly normal. I think it has something to do with the age that you're at.
What does it have to do with what is it about my age that's making me?
Well, because I can tell you, at least from just to use myself
I just don't understand.
Yeah, to use myself as an example, I remember when I turned 30, in my early 30s, I was so hyper focused on my career and what I was doing at that time and climbing the corporate ladder and trying to reach these certain goals that I had set for myself. Nobody else set them. And being disappointed with where I was and like being frustrated that, I should have got that promotion. I didn't get that promotion, and started questioning myself. Did I work hard enough? Why didn't I get that promotion? Like all these things, right? And so, and just like even personally, you start thinking about, should I be married now? I haven't found I'm not in a stable relationship. You start thinking about all this other stuff. Of like, what's the next 10 years going to look like?
Yeah, but Alex, these are broader things that you're worried about, which is fine. Like, these are broad goals.
Those are broad goals, but what I'm trying to say is that, because I remember thinking about a lot of the stuff that you were concerned with, little things like that in conversations with people, even conversations with family and just going to any kind of party, I would always think about stuff like that for hours after I would leave an event. And it was because that was just the time in my life that I thought that way.
How do I explain it? I feel like I'm not getting my point across.
Well, you asked why is it starting now?
No, but it goes deeper for me. Like, I'm talking with even hangouts with friends, like close friends to me. I look back on the hangout and I latch on to moments during the hangout where I feel like I could have been funnier, or I could have said something more clever, or been more witty, or...
Do you think your friends care?
No,
about
and that's the thing.
More funny.
No, and that's just something... That's just something I'm stuck on. I don't know what it is. I don't really know. It's an OCD thing, I'm thinking. Like, it has to be an OCD thing. It's something that I just...
Could be. Maybe.
Because really, it's never...
Do you feel... Do people say anything? Or do you just...
Well, that's my biggest
Is this your perception?
This is my perception. Oh my God, it's my perception.
Right.
Because if someone was to videotape me during those moments of being at the party or hanging out with a friend, and I were to like look at myself in the... on the recording, I'd be like, oh, dude, I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm doing good. I'm keeping the conversation going. But it's just these little like standards and these little criteria and these little points that I need to just be checking off. And it's becoming worse as I'm getting older. Whereas before, for example, of when I was 21, going through my day, going through the day I just told you about the brunch and the lunch and the dinner, just showing up would be fine. I would leave that thinking I did good today. I mean, I just showed up and I did have a good time. People seem to have a good time around me. That's that. But now it's becoming just more meticulous and more detailed in the moments during those times, thinking, well, what could I have done better? What could I? And I think, what's the undertone? Because there's a theme to all this. It's not just me being OCD. I think it just comes down to I feel like I'm not good enough. I'm always in a place of wanting to perform better, wanting to prove something to someone, or wanting to make sure someone doesn't think of me a certain way. I think that's what it comes down to, right? I mean, that's really, I feel like everything is just a little exam. Everything's a little quiz. Oh, 50% is a pass, right? 50% isn't good enough. Even 85%, 90%. Well, why couldn't I get 100? I go back to the quiz that I just did. Don't look at the 90% I did well, but I look at the 10% where I messed up. Where could I have gained that 10% from? And it's hard. I'm not expecting you to like know an answer or give me like God's key to this, because it's confusing me. It's never as bad as you think. It's never as bad. I'm
glad you said that, because I was just gonna say you're probably doing fine. Like, people's perceptions, your friends and family and your coworkers are probably okay with they're probably okay with how they engage with you. This is probably all in your head.
It has to be, right?
Like, sometimes just being good enough, like it's okay to be and it's okay to be just good enough. You don't need to be the funniest. You don't always have to give people the best advice or be the funniest or, say the perfect thing at the right moment. Just sometimes being there for your friends and family is enough. And oftentimes that's all they expect. You just need to be more gentle with yourself. I think you're just being really rough.
It's tough, dude. It's so, it's like something I can't get rid of. I can't detach it from me. It's this weight that I can't rip off me sometimes. It's crazy because it's never as bad as you think it is. Like I said, like if someone was to record me during the moments of being with coworkers or friends, and I look back on the recording, I'd look at myself and be like, dude, I'm good. I'm being funny. I'm being normal. And when you go to like a gathering or some sort of party, and there are times when you leave that and you're like, wow, it was fucking awkward, or wow, holy shit, I completely dropped the ball on this specific moment during the party. It's not as bad as you think. It's even those moments aren't as bad as you think. Like, other people during the party looking at you are probably thinking, wow, this guy's super smooth, this guy's super confident and charismatic, but it's so opposite of like what you think personally.
There's one thing you did touch on that I can definitely relate to, and you talked about being funny. That's something I feel like I'm super sensitive to, because I do feel like I'm a reasonably funny person, and when I say something, like I'll think about something ahead of time, like while we're having a conversation, right? If we're just the two of us or we're in a group having a conversation. And I'll look for moments, I'll look for openings where I can say something, because I love the reaction. I feed off of that. Like when people react and, they respond positively to something. If it doesn't land well, or if it doesn't come across as funny, then it really gets to me. Which is weird, because it's not like I'm a professional comedian or anything. I don't do stand-up, but I love being funny. And I love when people laugh at my jokes. And when something doesn't land, it's just like, I'll leave. And I'll be thinking for hours. I'll be like,
so you know what I mean?
Why? It's cringy. So like I say something and it didn't work.
So you get what I mean.
I totally get what you're saying. I just don't have an answer. I'm not sure I have a solution for you.
Do you think it's just as simple as just letting go?
I think you have to. Man. We've talked about this before on previous episodes, but I think this is a recurring theme as you get older. Is just you just have to learn to let go of things. That there's certain things that are out of your control, because it's just like a poison. It's like cancer. It becomes cancer in your body when you can't get out of your own head. If you can't leave a conversation with your friend or with a loved one, and all you do is ruminate and ruminate and ruminate.
Okay, well, how do you get out of it?
Well, I'm sure a lot of people would probably give you better advice than me, but
there's a lot of grounding techniques.
Meditation.
There's like grounding techniques,
meditation.
meditation, being mindful, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, therapy.
But it's just, I think the good thing for me, at least personally, is doing all the work that I've done in therapy. At least I'm aware of why I'm feeling this way, because it just comes back to the feeling of not being good enough. And it has a lot to do with my inner child and just not feeling I'm good enough and always trying to prove something, and everything is a test. I'm wanting external validation, all that shit.
Yeah.
All that shit. But even knowing that, even having a roadmap to all that and understanding the undertone of why I'm feeling the way I am, it still doesn't fix it. That's the frustrating part, because a lot of times in therapy, they're like, okay, well, if you label it and you kind of create this roadmap for yourself to understand why these emotions are coming up, and why you're thinking the way you are, it might alleviate some of the pressure and the anxiety and give you some space.
Yeah, because you need to understand it.
You need to understand
where is this coming from? How did it happen?
And I do understand it.
Yeah.
But I just can't get myself to...
Can't get past it.
Get away from me. I see you. I understand what's happening. I get why Mo is worried about this person not laughing enough. I get that. It's because 12-year-old Mo is trying to impress and no one is giving him attention. Therefore, I'm coming from a place of insecurity and inferiority, and I'm just continually trying to impress and get external validation. I understand that. I've literally wrote it out.
Yeah.
I've literally wrote it as like a chart. Cool. I see all that. Now let's figure it out. Now let's get to a place of just turning it up a notch and being okay with it. But it's just something I'm struggling to like grip away from.
It's hard, man. That's you got to work on that every day, I guess. It's not going to be easy. Have you talked to anybody else about this? You got to take it day by day, but I'm not sure how I can help, man. I'm happy to listen. I just want you to know, like, I hear you.
I didn't want to come here to do a therapy session. It wasn't me just like
I'm not
venting. I'm just
sure what else to say.
It's a beautiful struggle, I think. I think it's
a good way of putting it. That's life though, too.
Man, I just wish sometimes.
Like I feel like, kind of pisses me off. I don't like it when life is too easy. And that seems kind of weird to say that, right? That life shouldn't be too, like, do you think life shouldn't be too easy?
What is
like
I don't even know when it's
like everything comes to you, everything goes your way, you get every promotion, you get, you make the money that you want, relationships just happen and they're perfect and everybody loves you, and I don't know, it's like that's a fantasy world. That's just I think some people want to achieve that, but it's a fantasy that can never be reality, because even the most successful people that you see every single day, especially on social media, which you don't hear a lot of people talk about it, but like there's this, everybody is trying to show that they're living this perfect life that's just, it's not real.
Well,
there's a lot more to what's happening.
Yeah, I hear you.
Than what people post. People post perfectly crafted videos.
Right. We've talked
about that.
Yeah,
right?
we've talked about this.
So I'm just saying,
times,
like,
I just want to, but sure, like that's all good and all that, but I don't think it's ever going to be enough. I think I've gone to a point where I've realized for myself that no matter how much money I make or how many views or followers we get or subscribers or how many times I have a sexual encounter, it's just this empty hole that I'm filling with nothing. Sure, it'll feel good for a couple days or maybe even a week, but I'll go right back to the place of just feeling empty and feeling like I'm not good
here's
enough.
the thing. The way I look at it is I look at it two very separate things. It's okay to be I think it's okay to be competitive with yourself. I think it's okay to be aggressive and have these lofty goals. And even to the extent of, when you say, I don't think it's ever enough, I think it's okay to always push yourself and to always work towards the next thing. I think that's okay. What I don't think is okay, though, is if you can't step away from a conversation for something just as simple as that, if you can't step away from that and just let go, though, and just say, it is what it is.
You talking about my situation?
Yeah, I'm saying like in that kind of situation, I think that's different. That's different from saying like, oh, it's never going to be enough. I think that's different from the specific thing that you're talking about of that.
Sure, but that's I don't know. That's two kind of different things, though. When you say lofty goals,
for example, like with the podcast, you're saying, oh,
like one of the goals was to get 10,000 followers.
Right.
I did.
You did.
The next day, I was like, fuck, I still feel like shit. Great, I got 10,000 followers. Great.
I don't
Next
see
morning,
anything.
I still felt anxiety.
I don't
get this girl. Have.
Okay, hold on. Staying on the podcast thing, for me, I don't look at that as something that's bad or unhealthy. I think it's okay to go, okay, I did that. I reached that goal. Now what's the next thing?
But I thought it was going to make me feel good.
Okay, well, that's different.
And it did for a day, maybe 10 hours. But then I started feeling like shit again.
Okay, so there's nuance in what you're saying there, because on the one hand, you reach the goal, it's totally fine. Of course, you want to be able to reach even further. There's always going to be something after that you're going to chase. But I think what you're saying is the feeling like shit after. Like, how long are we talking?
Well, like it's not like I mean,
were you disappointed with yourself somehow? Like, I'm just trying to understand.
No, I'm not. Okay, so I guess it's just really comes down to, okay, we, on this particular example, got 10K followers, great, felt really accomplished, felt really proud of myself for maybe a day. And the next morning I had to wake up and go to work and I had to deal with that shit. And just kind of got, I mean, the feeling just goes away. I mean, it's not sustainable. Like that's what I mean. Like, it's just like an empty vase or empty vase that I'm filling every single time I do something. Oh, if I get this girl, or if I get this piece of clothing, or if I make this much money, or I get this person to say what I want them to say, it's just going to be so much better than it actually is. It's never enough. Like, I honestly think if someone just gave me $1 million right now, it would feel good for a week, 2 weeks, a month, a year. And then I'm just going to go back right into where I was of just feeling not enough and wanting more. And it's just never fulfilling. I'm never fully satisfied. I'm never fully thinking, wow, I did good, or I need to take a step back. And
well, let me ask you this:
I don't know how else to explain it.
What would make you happy?
I don't know.
Think hard about what are the things that make you happy. Could be anything.
Man,
is there any one thing that makes you the most?
Hold on. Just being able to let go and just being mindful of my emotions and not letting them take over me. Like, seriously, like, I don't know if that sounds corny, but just really being in control of my own thoughts and emotions.
Right. But I'm not talking about what you want. I'm talking about what right now. What makes you happy right now that already exists?
I don't know. Like, if you were to ask me how I'm feeling right now, I would say I don't know.
So the fact that you have a job,
I don't know how I feel.
You have friends, you have family, people that care about you. None of that makes you happy.
Okay, so is it just an issue of gratitude? Like, do I need to start doing gratitude practices? Is that what it is?
Maybe try to think more about. I don't know. Like, do you ever write this stuff down? Have you ever thought about writing some of this down? Like, what are you actually thankful for? Like, who do you have in your life? Who do you lean on? Is there anybody that you talk to? Like, any relationships that you cherish? Maybe start focusing more on that as opposed to what do I not have right now, or what are my weaknesses? I'm not saying you shouldn't
Well, I
work on
wanna
that stuff
I'll-
either. I'm just saying that maybe you should try to write down what actually makes you happy right now in your life. Period.
Well, I want to be able to get rid of the feeling of everything as a performance and everything as a quiz and a test. Like that's something I
Right.
want to be okay with, just sitting with, because that's not. I can't get to that place of being grateful without getting the feelings of being performance based all the time. God, I don't know. Like in GTA when
Yeah.
you finish all the main objectives.
Yeah, you got side missions.
You got side missions, but the game never ends. It's
Right.
a never ending
Keeps going.
game. It's it feels like that. It feels like that for me. I just
Right.
kind of feel like it's sort of I can do all these little side missions and accomplish these things and get all that, but the game never ends. The game never ends, and even when you're playing the game as the main character in GTA, you kind of just get bored of it and you turn the game off. I want to get to the point where I get bored of it and I just let go. And the letting go is turning the game off and saying that's good for today. I played enough GTA. It's just these main objectives in the game that I've done and I continue to pursue and try to complete. But it's all the side missions and this coming from a place of it's just never ending.
Yeah.
It's just never ending, and I feel like I should be proving more. I should be proving more things to more people.
I don't know.
It's not even for myself anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not proving it for myself. I'm trying to prove it for other people.
I don't know if this helps at all, but you're very, very, very likely not the only one. In fact, I know you are not. Anybody watching this now, there's probably thousands of people listening to this right now that are nodding and agreeing, saying, "Yeah, I'm in the same place that you are."
It's a scary. One thing I want to say too, man. It's a scary place when you ask yourself, "How do you feel right now?" And I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer of how I feel. Am I happy? Am I sad? Am I dissociated? Am I depressed? I don't know.
I think you could actually answer that if you thought about it.
Well,
how do you feel right now? Don't think too hard about it.
I'm okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm okay.
Okay.
Whatever.
There's
okay
nothing
means,
wrong with
whatever
being okay.
means. I could be better. I could be worse.
Yeah. There's
Why
nothing
am I
wrong
not
with that.
comfortable with it? Why am I not?
You're not comfortable with okay? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not. I'm not comfortable with okay. I'm not just comfortable with being okay because I don't really know what okay means. Am I okay? Am I happy? Am I sad? Am I on the verge of losing it all? Because I always feel like I'm. I always feel like I'm one decision away.
You're setting the bar way too high for yourself. You set the bar so high that you're never going to reach it. It's too tall. I don't know why. I don't know why you're doing that.
It's the empty vase that's never going to be filled. It's the GTA character with the side missions that is never going to end. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I am a GTA character.
Yeah. I mean, to use your video game analogy, that's just like like looking into a black abyss. To use the video game analogy, to me, it's like, so you're talking about something that never ends. It's like when you look into the abyss and you can't see the bottom. That's not good. It's not a healthy way to think, for sure. And I don't know what to do about that either. You're probably going to have to look into some coping techniques here.
Oh, man.
You got to be okay with yourself. That's the thing. You got to be okay with yourself. Maybe you need to journal. Like wake up in the morning, just write down like, how do I feel today?
Well, you know what? I was talking to my friend about it. We were talking about working out and like, losing weight and being jacked and all that. Yeah. And he looks fine. He's in shape. He doesn't there's no visible thing where he needs to work on. Where I'm like, okay, dude, you need to like, cut back on the pies or work out a little bit more. Nothing like that. I told him, I said, dude, like so many people look at our bodies and us physically and wish they had our bodies.
Totally.
And it makes sense. He just said, well, we're different. We hold ourselves to a higher standard.
Yeah, that's okay.
Which is great, which is a blessing. But at what point does it get so overwhelmingly debilitating where
there's certainly that people in this specific case, I mean, just with staying fit, I've seen people get so obsessed with fitness where it actually does become debilitating.
Or yes,
You know,
but
those are extreme circumstances.
Right.
Obviously, I'm not saying you are at that point, but that's just one example that you're giving. Obviously, but obviously you apply that type of you obviously you're saying you apply that type of thinking to a lot of things, not just having those higher standards for staying fit, but obviously a lot of things in your life, right? You have that. And you
pretty
obviously
much everything I do.
pretty
in my
much
life.
everything.
Pretty much every moment of my life.
You feel like there's no end to it.
I feel like there's no end to it, even though I know it's never going to be enough. I'm like a dog chasing my own tail. That's what I'm trying to say. Right? It goes back to the GTA character. I'm doing all these side missions. In GTA, you can make as much money as you can by robbing people, killing people, doing side missions. But even in the game, even when you're in the game and you get to a certain amount of money, you just kind of feel, oh, okay, well, the game's never ending. The feeling of the game never ending has this weird undertone to it. Has this uncomfortable undertone to it where I'm thinking, what am I doing? Where's this game going? There's no end point.
Yeah, because, I mean, on the one hand, I can tell you, well, just shut the game off. Just stop. Just stop thinking about that. Stop. There's actually, I can't remember the name of the comedian now. This is great. I think it was a Mad TV sketch. It's obviously not as simple as just stop thinking this way, but like sometimes you do just have to tell yourself, like look at the clock and go, I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna get up off the couch.
Well, that's a simple explanation for a video game, Alex.
Yeah.
I'm talking about life, every moment.
Well, at some point, like I had to stop looking for validation, stop caring about what people think about me.
What was the flip of the switch? Please explain to me. What was the flip of the switch?
I can't tell you an exact moment, but it was just I turned a certain age and I just said, fuck it. I literally just said, fuck it. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Just something inside me. I'm getting older now. I just don't care. It's very freeing when you get to that point, but I can't. It's
a matter of age. It's a matter of experience.
It was a matter of experience and age and maturity. It wasn't anything. I didn't watch a seminar. It wasn't some motivational speech somebody gave me. I just woke up. I was a certain age and I looked in the mirror and I said, fuck it. I don't care. I'm going to do the best I can. That's going to be that. I don't care. Either people like me or they don't like me. And I'm okay with that. If somebody doesn't like me, I'm okay with that.
It just always feels like I'm playing catch up. It just always feels like I'm putting myself.
I can't say with certainty, but I think 5 years from now, we're going to have a very different conversation. I'm telling you that.
I hope so.
I'm trying to tell you to
stay in the moment.
Just you're going to be okay. It's going to take time, but like I'm telling you, at some point, you're just going to stop caring.
It's so hard to be present, man, and
I'm not saying you should stop trying. I'm not saying you should stop trying.
It's so hard to be out of your head.
Yeah, I get it. I do get in my head. With a lot of things, but
I just really want to be just in my car in traffic and just be in traffic, but not in my own head. I want to be messing up. I want to be awkward while being present and not in my own head. I want to have moments where I screw things up and say the wrong thing or not perform as well, but do that while I'm present. Because doing it while I'm in my head and I'm just ruminating and my head is just spinning and overthinking about everything, it's just so suffocating. I want to have all the experiences in my life, ups and downs, dips and valleys, all of those things. But I just want to be present while I'm going through it. I want to be out of my own head for goddamn however much I can. I just want to be able to not have to dwell on things when it's already past and just be okay with what has happened and what is going to happen and what comes next without thinking about what's coming next, without doing things from a place of performance, from a place of like doing a quiz or a test. When I used to do quizzes and tests, it was the most I've ever been anxious. And I've just created a life like form of that in every single thing I do. In every single thing I do, it feels like I'm walking into a classroom about to do a midterm or a final exam. And that's in everything. Podcasting, hanging out with friends, going on a date, dinner party. It just feels like I'm doing an exam. I'm about to do an exam. And after the exam is done, after the Christmas party is done, I look back on it and think of myself, oh, you know how like you look back on a midterm or an exam thinking, oh damn, that wasn't the right answer. Oh, I should have completely
you start second guessing yourself.
I should have done that one, or I knew that answer. Why didn't I do it? The correlation is uncanny how much similarities there are in that.
I think I mentioned this to you in the past. And the only reason why I want to share is because this is something that I struggle with, and I feel like it's somewhat tangentially related to what you're talking about. But I've actually mentioned this to my dad, and he doesn't understand it. But I told him that every time I go to a family event, like Christmas dinner, Easter dinner, all that sort of stuff with extended family, like see my aunt and her husband and his side of the family, and
right.
We don't see them that often, but like all the major holidays and stuff like that, right? And I think to myself, why do I feel anxiety going to family events? These are people that I love. These are people that love me. I grew up with them. They're not strangers, but every time I go to a family event, I feel this sense of like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I feel super awkward. And I talked to my dad about it, and he doesn't understand it. He goes, well, what are you talking about? You're their family. You know these people. But this is a feeling that I have every time I go to these events, and I can't explain it. And there hasn't been anything I've been able to do to get rid of that feeling. So in that sense, even though we're not talking exactly about the same thing, I understand where you're coming from, that it's so hard. It's frustrating when you feel this way, when you have these thoughts, but you can't shake it. So I do get it. I wish I had an answer for you.
You just go completely mute at these parties?
I don't go completely mute, but I feel like I push myself, even though I'm uncomfortable. I push myself to get up and talk to people and just be cordial and go around and make sure I'm not ignoring anybody.
Are you being awkward?
But no, I'm not awkward. I don't think I come across as awkward, but I feel like I'm acting. Like I'm forcing myself to be this other guy that I'm not. But also I feel like that in a lot of events. Like I've always had anxiety when going to any kind of event, any kind of party even with people that I know. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like I don't know what to say.
Well, what is it? I mean, you're old enough. You're wise enough to know. I mean, let's look. What is it?
I don't
know. If you were to guess,
it's just anxiety.
What would it be? What's the anxiety over? I mean, look at me trying to help you after talking about
exactly.
All my shit.
I'm just trying to relate.
Because
to
what you're telling
saying,
me is such a broad stroke of anxiety, and I'm like, okay, well, what the okay, can you give me some more? Like, give me some more here. Like, you're not giving me much. Okay, well, like, what is it? Is it judgment? Are you scared they're judging you? Like, what is it?
I guess
give me a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one aspect of it, for sure. Like, 'cause I've always felt self-conscious about my own career path and the work that I've done and the work that I choose to do, and I've always felt like it's never good enough. I'm not making, a lot of it comes down to money. Like I'm not at that level that I think I should be. I compare myself to others a lot. And then when I see where they're at, I go, wow.
Okay, but why family members? They're family.
I know, but I look at other family members that are more successful than me, and I go, wow, I just feel like trash. And I feel embarrassed when they ask me about, oh, how's work going? I feel like embarrassed. Like what I say is not important. It's meaningless. Like, why even talk about it? Because you are way more successful than I am. But why would you? I get in my own head about thinking, well, why would they care about what I have to say? Because what I do isn't important.
Early on in the episode, you say you don't give a fuck. You got to a certain point where you don't give a shit. Why do
That's
you?
true.
Why do you all of a sudden care? I don't.
That's funny because like, but with family,
I'm not challenging. I just want to know.
it's true that with most people I don't, but when it comes to family, I do get
Well,
that
you just
sense
said it's
of
not even
anxiety.
family. It's any social event with friends too.
I do have some. I do get way more anxiety when if someone invites me to a party, I don't really know anybody. Then I get really like I get
So they're
quiet.
not family members.
Like I don't even talk. I barely talk to people.
But you just said you only get anxiety over family members.
Yeah, I guess
I'm not trying to be combative. I'm just trying to challenge you. I
you're
want
right.
to understand.
Yeah, I'm probably contradicting myself. I do feel anxiety a lot when I go to events. Period. I'm just saying that I feel more anxiety. There's different levels of anxiety, and I can't really explain why. I guess it does. Maybe it does come down to not feeling good enough in general. Probably like never feeling like I've done enough. And so even just talking about what I do with people,
But do you think?
I feel like embarrassed to even talk about it.
But do you think that number you have in your head of whatever it would feel like to be enough with this number, do you think if you got that number, you would feel enough? Seriously.
I think I would.
So as soon as you got that in your bank
think like
account,
if I was making $200,000 a year, I would be like.
so as soon as you started making $200,000 a
it would
year,
be like a confidence thing. I would
you
feel
would wake
way
up in the
more
morning and you
confident.
just feel that much better.
Oh yeah,
And
I think I would.
It would stay for a long time.
I mean, that's what I think. That's how I think I would feel. I can't say that with certainty, but I think I would be. I think I would have less anxiety about it.
That's what I mean. Like your anxieties would just completely disappear in broad daylight, just by a flick of a switch.
I don't know. I might be completely.
I mean, come on.
I might be completely unrealistic.
You lived enough life to know. Maybe like you could.
I just feel like sometimes I'm 42, so when I look at people that are in their late 20s, that are at a certain level, when people are younger than me and they've accomplished more, it really pisses me off. Like it really fucking pisses me off that I have now I gotta work. I gotta work 10x harder now.
I hear you, man, and that's totally valid for you to be pissed off.
But and it does push me to work harder, but I also do get burnt out. You know, it's like trying to work two jobs. It's hard. Like I get up in the morning, I'm an early riser, and so I have a full-time job working 40 hours a week. But I get up in the morning, and I'm often editing video because I feel like I'm most productive in the morning, and then I go to my full-time job, do that all day, and then by the time I get home, I'm exhausted and I don't want to do anything else. Rinse and repeat. So I don't have a lot of free time to spend with even friends. I don't see a lot of people. I don't leave the house very often. So, and that's, yes, of course you're going to say, well, Alex, that's your own choice. You've decided to do that. But I'm also trying to, because I feel like I haven't achieved a certain level of whatever that is, of success. However you define success, I feel like, well, I need to do this. I have to work these two jobs. So I'm doing that to myself, but I don't know how long-term sustainable that is, but it is what it is.
Just as simple as that. It is what it is.
I guess it has to be.
I get it. Just for one moment, I just want to be clear of all fucking responsibilities and feelings of always trying to prove something, man. Just for a day. Just for a day, I just want to feel good in my own skin. Just being okay with nothing happening. Just being okay with nothing seemingly moving forward. Even though it is, seeing it for how it is and how it is in the moment and just embracing it and being totally anxiety free and just...
Well, wouldn't it be nice to be completely
as we're talking about this, I'm
anxiety-free?
overthinking about it.
As
I'm talking about this shit right now, I'm overthinking about what the hell the episode is going to be and what the clips are going to be. Like, how insane is that, man? As we're recording, I'm thinking about the last hour 25 of us recording this shit. And
I've been thinking about the same thing too, because we've been talking
what
about...
What is it, man? Why can't we just get rid of it? Hold on, man. Why can't we just get rid of it? Why can't we just be present right now? Why can't we just be okay with recording this and not really giving... Like, I'm here, but I'm not. I'm here, but I'm not.
Well, maybe you're a perfectionist.
What does that mean? What's a perfectionist?
Because
what does perfectionist mean, man?
It means that...
Because you just saying perfectionist doesn't do anything for me. It actually kind of pisses me off even more because perfectionist in my head has a certain meaning, and that doesn't feel like that at all. I feel like dying right now.
Well, it means you're always finding faults in things. Like every little thing you do. You're finding a fault in everything, and you want a reason... You want an excuse to try to make it as perfect as nearly perfect as it can be.
Yes. I want to get into this right now. I mean, I am feeling like I'm not doing good right now in this episode. I feel like I haven't performed well. I feel like I haven't been speaking well. I feel like I haven't been as present as I should be, and I feel like shit. I feel like complete shit. You really want to know how I feel? I feel like complete shit right now. And it's going to drag on for the rest of the day when I leave this place, when I go to the gym after this, when I go have dinner tonight. I'm going to be thinking of what I could have done better. I'm comparing myself to other podcast hosts. I'm comparing myself to other therapists because I'm trying to be a therapist. I'm aspiring to be a therapist. I'm comparing myself, and I'm envious, and I'm jealous, and I start digging myself a hole. You really want to know? That's how I feel, Alex.
I do want to know.
I really want to open up a can of worms right now. I really want to dig deep right now and unpack what the fuck I'm feeling. Because as soon as the cameras came on, as soon as all these lights and all this ISO recording red thing came on, all this bullshit. Sorry, it's not bullshit, but I'm just letting it out right now. I tensed up, and I became someone that I'm not. I started becoming someone that I'm not.
You're performing.
I'm performing, and I fucking hate that.
Well, you're on camera.
It just feels like I'm doing a pre-calculus 10 exam from Mr. Turner. I'm walking into class, sitting beside my friend, asking him if he studied or not, and I'm shaking frantically because I'm so goddamn nervous. I feel like I need to vomit. That's how I feel. In every moment, I'm just not calm. I'm not present, and it's never enough. It's never going to be enough, no matter what anyone tells me, no matter what I get, no matter how much I accomplish, it's never going to be enough. And I have this emptiness that I just can't, it's this void that I can't fill with things that I thought were going to be worth it.
However you feel about doing this episode today.
I don't know. I can't tell you if I feel good about it. I can't tell you if I feel amazing. I don't know.
Well, you just said you feel like you're performing and you hate it.
I feel like I'm performing.
Okay. Why do you think performing is bad? Like, what do you mean by that? You're trying to.
I just don't feel like myself.
You're trying to craft this. This isn't two people. Like we're not trying to make this about two people talking about something selfishly. You're putting content out into the world. You obviously want people to listen or watch the show. So you're obviously going to be hard on yourself. You're going to make deliberate decisions about the direction of this show. Now, whether you think this is going to be a good episode, an average episode, bad episode, however you think it's going to turn out, the reality is, even if it doesn't, there's always another episode. There's always, what I'm saying is and not just this podcast, there's going to be another day. So at some point you just have to just wipe your hands clean.
I just want to stop.
You have to go.
Right.
That's it. It's in the can. It's done. Let's do the next thing. Let's focus on the next thing.
Oh, God, I just want to. But I'm just crafting my words. I'm just crafting myself in a way to appease to others. Even now, talking about it with you.
There's always another episode.
There's always another episode. Yeah, I. That's just what it comes down to, huh? Like that. Is
well,
that
I think you just have to. I think you just have to accept and settle that not everything is going to be an A+ in what you do in life.
Is that just how it is with everything? Is that just how it is with everything?
That's how I think.
Wasn't that funny at that party? Always going to be another party. Oh, yeah. Wasn't really charming during that date. There's going to be another date.
Whatever. Even if I fuck up and I think whatever, I did a shitty job. Okay, next time it's going to be better.
even if you're awkward with a conversation with someone.
Yeah. Yeah, I just go
because you know when you're awkward. You can leave a conversation thinking, "Oh my god, that was awkward."
There are times where I say something I'm like, that was kind of stupid. I was a goofball, or that was corny, whatever. I go, well, what am I gonna do? Sit here for 24 hours and go, oh, you fucked up, Alex. That was stupid. Like, what is that gonna do? It's gonna make me feel like crap.
It's just self-blame.
It's this vicious cycle that you will never get out of, and it's so unhealthy.
But what I don't understand is, why is it getting worse as we're getting older? Like, you would think it would be worse at a younger age, but as you're maturing, you start to not give a shit. Like, I didn't give a shit when I was 21 how the conversation went.
I think that's normal.
Why is that normal? I don't understand the math.
I think when you're really young, first of all, they say, scientists say that human brain isn't fully formed till about 25. So your ability to assess risk at a younger age is not very good. And so you're more rebellious, you're more reckless, you do stupid things. In a way, you're more childlike in the sense that it's actually more liberating. It's more freeing. Because you're willing to just you just jump in that.
That's a good point.
I never thought you jump into the deep end, into that cold water, and you don't give a fuck.
I never thought of it like that, actually. Because you're more ignorant, right? You're more ignorant under the age of 25. Dude, I didn't give a shit about anything.
Yeah.
I would say whatever, do whatever, and not even think twice about it. That's the difference.
Well, it's really interesting. I took I took a course on creativity, and it was a very
courses on that.
Yeah, they do. UBC, Sutter School of Business. It was a very fascinating experience because in this week-long course, they make you do all these exercises that it was very interesting to see in the class who had an open mind and who was willing to truly let go of their concerns, their, I should act a certain way. Because, as children, they say this in the course too, if you look at how children think, children are very open-minded and they're very creative and they're playful. They have a sense of play. But because of society and what we say as adults, like how we should behave, you lose that creative aspect of you. You lose that playfulness as a child when you become an adult. And so it's there, it's buried, you can get it back, but you got to work at it. And so in that course, it was very interesting. Like, one of the examples that we had to do was they gave everybody Lego. And so you had to construct something out of Lego. You had to write a story as a group. You would break out into teams, and then you would have to present it. And some people would freeze up. They'd just go, I can't do this. They'd literally, like, on the verge of tears, I can't do this. I can't use Lego. I can't build anything. I can't think of a story. They literally froze up. And others were able to do it. So it just goes to show you that you lose that as an adult, but you can get it back if you work at it. And so by the end of that course, a lot of those people were able to be more free.
So you're saying creativity leads to more rebellious feelings?
What I'm saying is, I think that,
because I don't think it's a matter of creativity.
I think that as children, when you're younger, that you take more risks, that you don't overthink things as much as being an adult. And so I think that as we get older, we need to work harder to be cognizant, aware of that, and to try. I think we all could help ourselves by trying to recapture some of that childlike thinking of being more, allowing ourselves to be more creative and to be more free and to be more playful and to maybe not get in our head as much about everything that we do and not second guess every fucking thing that we do and not be so concerned about everything that we do and how we behave at every given moment, because it leads to this line of thinking that you're experiencing and to some of the stuff that I've experienced that I still feel, like this anxiety about overthinking about how is this person perceiving me and do they like me and do they not like me, and it forces you down this really horrible unhealthy.
You're never gonna
path.
win.
You're never
It's
gonna.
never,
You're
it's
never
never
gonna
a winning
win.
situation.
No.
Let me tell you, it's
No.
never winning.
And you're never gonna get out of
you
it. You're
think-
never gonna be
yeah.
happy.
And there's no end point to it. There's no finish line. Let me tell you. I used to think there was, but no, there isn't. There really isn't. If I don't throw a wrench into the cycle, I'm going on a loop until the last day.
You know what you should do? You should go buy a big bucket of Lego. Seriously, just build something.
Man.
Just get into that creative mode, man. Do artwork.
Do you really
take
think
a
that's going to
painting,
get me out
do
of
something.
that? Do you really think that's just going to make me more?
I don't think it'll make things worse. No, I'm serious.
Well, I mean, a lot of things,
Whether it's
unless I start
taking up
doing
painting
crack.
or doing crafts or do something to just take your mind away from stuff and just get into this creative process. I don't think it'll make things worse, but you got to do something. You have to do something.
It's never enough, dude. It's never enough. My God, I'm stressing out about this episode right now. I mean, I always stress. I don't think you know. I don't think you noticed, but I'm always stressing about the episodes.
No, I guess you hide it pretty well.
Do I?
You don't really actively talk about it. I mean,
you
don't tell me, hey, Alex,
here,
I'm stressed out about this episode.
Every time I leave an episode with any other guests, I'm thinking so much about it, and it's never good thoughts.
You always ask me when we're done, like, how did you think?
Yeah.
And I always tell you honestly what I think.
Because I never think it's.
But we never go, we never.
You can tell me it's great. The guest could tell me it's great. The guest could tell me I did a fantastic job of hosting it.
But you don't believe it.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it one bit.
I feel like that's
not even a single bit.
I feel like that's a bit of, what they call imposter syndrome.
I knew you were gonna bring that up. Yes.
You don't think so?
Because it's just I feel like I'm undeserving.
I know that's a made up term. It's not. I don't think it's acknowledged. Imposter syndrome is when you feel like you're somehow tricking people into believing that you are who you say you are. That you.
So I'm manipulating people into thinking I'm someone that I'm not.
That you're. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, maybe a little bit. A little bit of it is maybe that. I mean, maybe
even though in reality you are successful, you are smart, you are funny, you have a nice life, you've done all these things, but it doesn't matter because in your own mind you feel that you've convinced that person that you're that person, but deep down you feel like you aren't, even though in reality you are.
So what, I'm convincing the viewers that I'm not the person I am, or
you've convinced people that there's this perception, there's how you actually feel about yourself, and then there's this perception of like how from the other person's viewpoint, like how people think of Mo, right? And so you think that you've tricked the audience into thinking that you're Mo, the successful podcaster that's done this and that, that's had.
But I don't feel successful.
But you don't.
Right. So when people tell me,
you feel the right word is a fraud. You feel you're a fraud.
100%.
You're
100%
the
I feel
guy.
like a fraud.
You're the guy at the carnival that's tricking people.
Yeah.
That's just doing magic tricks, but you're not real.
So when people tell me, "Oh, Mo, your podcast is doing so great. You're doing like it's so good that it's like doing so well," but I don't feel like I am. That's what it is.
You think it's all bullshit.
Yeah. Then I absolutely have a case of imposter syndrome. Oh my God, I do.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord, I do. Is it weird that ever since I did start this podcast, I've become more of a person that wants to control things, needs to be a certain way. I've become more of a perfectionist once I started the podcast.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a bad thing because you obviously, the thing is, if you didn't care about what you were doing right now, you'd just be like, I don't give a shit. You wouldn't
but it's
set
almost
those
leaking.
standards.
It's leaking into other parts of my life.
Okay, that's not good.
That's what I mean.
That part is not
like
good.
I'm treating everything.
But I think it's okay to have to be on the verge of not really being satisfied all the time. But if it's affecting your life in other aspects, I'm not saying that's...
I'm treating everything like a performance. Oh, that might be it.
So I think that part is not great.
Because you know how like we become performative and once the lights and cameras and all the fucking mic shit goes on.
Yeah.
I kind of take this and I bring it into other parts of my life of, going to a party, a Christmas dinner, lunch, meeting up with a date. That's what's happening, right?
I think the thing is that I think there are many things in our lives that are performative. You can't escape that. I think whether it's you go in for a job interview, you go for a date, you're being challenged, and you want to be the best version of yourself, and you want to be perceived in a positive light. So you are performing. You are acting in a way. I'm not saying that you're being inauthentic, but in a way you are trying to be the best version of yourself. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is stressful too. Because you're not sure how that person's going to react. You're not sure, like, are they going to, like, what do they actually think about you? So you leave that situation, you go, gee, I wonder, like, am I going to get that job? Or you go on a first date.
But it's also going to feel that much more shitty if that person says, hey, I don't think we're a match. I don't want to see you again.
So that goes back to what
you
something
failed.
I said
you
at the
ultimately
beginning.
failed in your performance.
Right. So that's something that goes back to something we talked about earlier, which I said at some point you mature in your life where you don't eliminate it completely, but you don't care as much about what people think about you.
Because you see how that works.
You become more comfortable with yourself, like who you are, and you go, you know what? I'm Alex, or I'm Mo. This is me. Take it or leave it. I'm not saying I'm not going to always try to be the best version of myself. I'm not saying I'm not gonna try to achieve the things I want to achieve. I'm always learning, but at my core, my personality is my personality. You're not going to change me. And so if you don't like it,
but you're going back on,
there's the door.
Okay, but great. I love how you said it, but you're going back on the performance, what you said before, where everything's a performance. Because you saying that you're okay with who you are and this is Alex and this is where you're going to get, you're essentially saying that you're letting go of the performance piece and you're just going to be who you are.
Yeah.
So you're going back on what you just said, that everything we do in life is performance based, because what you're saying is when you get to a point of you don't really give a damn, it's liberating because you don't care and you're getting rid of the performance piece. But you're saying that everything we do is performance based, right? So
to a degree.
You see how you're going. It's you're contradicting yourself in a way.
But I think both are accurate, because I think a lot of things are performative to a degree. But have you heard the expression "being comfortable in your own skin"? I
haven't heard about that one.
I feel like
my god, I'm going to put that in my notes.
But I feel like that applies. You get to a certain age where you feel like you're comfortable in your own skin, and you go, "This is me. Take it or leave it."
So performance goes away. That performance aspect goes away, because that's what that means.
A lot of that goes away. Yeah.
I'm not saying you're gonna go to a date and just like whip your fucking legs open and just be a slob. I'm not saying that.
If I go on a date now, I literally I don't think about what I'm gonna say ahead of time. I'm not concerned about the conversation. I go in blind. I just go in blind, and I'm there to experience this other person, to learn about them. Hopefully they learn a little bit about me.
Oh, you're so cute.
I walk away at the end of that, and I go,
it's in God's hands.
It either works or it doesn't. If that person doesn't find me interesting, I'm like, great, man. You just saved me.
Okay, so there's no
piece
of performance in you in that then.
No, you just saved me so much time.
So can you agree that not everything in life is performance?
Right. No, I agree with I absolutely agree that not everything is a performance, but it feels that way for a long time until it doesn't, at least for me. Like I feel like everything I do now feels very authentic. I'm not trying to be somebody that I'm not.
Other than just like talking AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something you still got to figure
out. Some people, some guys, are very much, they always want to talk about all their achievements to try to impress people. I don't care any about that at all. I don't really like talking about I don't really like talking about achievements a lot. I'm not saying I'm not proud of what I've done. I am. I'm definitely proud of, I've definitely amassed a lot of skills and knowledge over the years, but I'm not going to be, I feel like that's overcompensating. If like there's this bravado aspect to what a lot of guys try to do, where they're always like, yeah, I've made X amount of dollars this year and I closed this deal, and You know, it's just like, fuck off. How about
I
we
just
just
don't
have?
even. I
How about
don't.
we
I
just
don't
have
want
a
to even think about
conversation?
that, man. Like
How about
that's
we
just
just have a
something.
conversation about life? Let me learn more about you as a person. I want to know about your family. I want to know what are your values. Let's not
You
talk
know.
about how much money we're making or
You know what's
how
sad
many
though?
cars or boats I own.
Yeah, but okay, but Alex, you're sure. I mean, it's not. It's annoying as hell. Like I don't want to talk about that shit. It's stupid. It's sad to me that I won't be able to recreate the memories I had in my early 20s. Like I won't be able to recreate the memories I have now from now on, from this point on in my life, the same way I used to do it when I was in my early 20s. Was just so much carefree, none of the weight of the world on my shoulders.
Well, let me ask.
Everything is just more rigid now. Everything is just more
You don't think you could be
dark. It just becomes really dark really fast sometimes, man.
You don't feel like you could be more carefree?
I think it's impossible. I think it's because it's just a matter of age. I mean, I'm at a place where I can't be. I don't have the same worries and responsibilities I had at 21. I don't have the same goals. I don't really have the same mannerisms. I mean, I do, but I'm just so critical and just so aware of all my surroundings now that I wasn't when I was in my early 20s. I just take note of everything. And
Well, I think that's a good thing, though. I think that's part of maturity. I mean, you maybe have gone too far in one direction, and you kind of need to tighten it up a little bit. But I think that's part of maturity. You're just kind of figuring shit out at this age.
One more thing before we end it.
Yeah.
Have you heard about the burnt toast theory?
I don't think so.
So it's kind of cool. I subscribe to it. I mean, it's a really simplistic way of looking at things, but basically what it is so when you put toast in a toaster,
Yes.
and it ends up getting burnt, so the time it takes for you to put in another piece of bread and toast it, what this theory kind of talks about is during that time you're making another piece of toast, you could be avoiding a car crash. You could be avoiding going somewhere and seeing something completely traumatic that completely changes the trajectory of your life, because you're taking the time to make another piece of toast, and in that time you could be sidestepping so many different things. And vice versa, if you during that time of you making another piece of toast, something great might happen. So it takes a little bit more time. Therefore, you'll encounter someone that could change your life, or you meet someone that could be potentially your next husband or wife. Whereas if you didn't burn the toast initially, the timing would have aligned together for you to meet that person. Or
is this analogy? Does this have something to do, or not analogy? Does this metaphor have something to do with learning a lesson from burning the toast?
Like, absolutely. What do you know? It just means when something, I guess, bad happens in your life, when there's a
that sometimes there can
where
be
there's a downfall,
a good circumstance.
Yeah, there's a good circumstance where you were meant to be put in that position. That was meant for you to happen, so you can get this opportunity or avoid this situation. But it's put down into very simplistic terms.
No, I get what you're saying. There's a lot of there's serendipity in life, in a lot of moments where you think, oh, like you didn't get that job, but then it turned out to be a happy like accident that it turned into something like, oh, but then you got another offer that you wouldn't have got that offer had you had taken that job.
And it can be boiled down to the most simplistic of terms of burning a piece of toast. Because burning a piece of toast, if it takes you a little bit longer to make another piece of toast, if you hadn't burned that first piece of toast and you did go out on the street and this drunk driver came and killed you,
right, you also have time to think.
You would have avoided that that death if you had burnt that toast, because it would have taken more time. So it can be broken down to that specific analogy. It's kind of cool. I mean, I don't know. It's not, I mean, you can't really, I mean, you could justify everything to burnt toast theory, but it is cool, right? It's kind of a cute way to end the episode. Or, you know, like if a girl rejects you, it's like, well, you could have just avoided the most miserable time of your life and
dodged a bullet,
and that allows you to meet someone else that's amazing. And right, or if a girl cancels on you, well, you possibly dodged the possibility of getting in a head-on collision and killing everyone in sight.
On that note, I guess the last thing I would say is specifically on that, like, you know, on the example of, you know, getting, I hate the term even rejected. There's such a negative, nasty connotation with the word rejection.
Fair.
But like, and I feel like now, and it used to bother me as a young guy, but now in my 40s, I feel like it's all, I almost want people to say no, because it allows me to very quickly pivot and move to the next, like, okay, what's the next? Let me find another person. Like that person was not for me, so I can not waste time. I'm very much, a lot of things I do in my life now are about not wasting time, about being efficient. So I feel like if that person says no, I go, great. There's another opportunity around the corner. There's always somebody else. It's a big planet. There's always something else out there.
That's one thing this year's taught me is, dude, people are so replaceable.
100%.
People come and go. Really,
100%.
It really is like that.
Why
people
waste your
come
time?
And go, and it doesn't get easier every time it happens, but you just get stronger. I feel
you do get stronger.
You just do get stronger.
I agree with
it. It always
that.
hurts. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say it's not going to hurt. When someone leaves or something ends or you need to cut someone off, it gets easier and you don't feel anything. No, that's the farthest thing from the truth. But you do just get more resilient and just, you forget about it quicker. I think the time it takes for you to get over it just gets smaller and smaller every single time. And you're confident in yourself knowing that you can get over it.
100% agree with that. Yeah. Resiliency, I'm so glad you said that. That is a great word. I think that's a great place to end it, because I think if anyone takes anything away from this episode is about, like, we all need to build resiliency as we get older. It's like, this is why we have to be able to make mistakes, learn from our mistakes, and just build up that resiliency. It's the only way to get through life.
And if you're here right now, you're resilient. That's simple and plain. And if you're here and you're alive and doing it and just living, you're good. Totally. You're resilient as hell, man. Because this shit ain't nice. This world ain't nice at all. Yeah. There ain't nothing nice about it. There ain't rainbow roses. Oh, it's a wonderful world. Fuck that song. Get the fuck out of here. Miss me with that shit, man. Miss me with that shit. That shit. Life is so much harder than you think. Stop lying to yourself. Stop saying it's easy. You can be grateful. Yeah, you have to have gratitude and be grateful for the things that you're blessed with. But my God, is it tough. And if anyone tells me it's not, and if anyone says, oh, it gets better and it gets easier, no, it doesn't get easier. You just get more resilient. You just get more resilient and stronger.
I agree.
It will beat you down, dude. It will beat you down mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and it'll leave you in a place where you have no idea what is going on. You're not even in your own body anymore. Dissociation starts to happen. If you've ever felt dissociated, believe me, it's a scary place, because if you were to ask me, when I'm in a dissociated state, Mo, what are you feeling? I would say, I don't know. I want to feel something. Give me something. Give me depression, anxiety, worry, happiness. Give me something. I just don't want to feel dissociated where I feel like I'm completely detached from my body and I'm in outer space and just floating. Because that's the scariest place to be. We haven't talked about dissociation, but I don't know if that's from my complex PTSD or something from my childhood, but it happens more often than not. And it gets worse when you get older. So people listening to this, I'm sorry to tell you, but buckle up. Buckle up. That's just, I'm not trying to be cynical. I'm not trying to be morbid about this whole thing, but it's just how it is. I've accepted it. I'm resilient. I'm still here. I'm 29. I've lived 29 years of my life in this earth. I know what it's like. We'll end it on that, man.
Sounds good.
Other than that, we're good. We're great, man.
Good chat.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Still need to be more present, though. I still need to be more present. Swear to God.
You just keep working on it. Just keep working.
My mind going in circles.
You're good now?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Let's call it. Peace.